Butler.
Yeah.
You are up for a role in a film. Are you playing the cops or are you playing the bad guys in this film, Den of Thieves, that we're doing today?
Which bad guy? Which hero?
No, just
gotta
pick one. Just pick one.
I'll be the cops.
Wow. Okay, that's fine. That works. We're doing Den of Thieves.
Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And you're listening to Forgotten Cinema. Each episode, we highlight a film that, for a variety of reasons, was forgotten by audiences. Whether it be because a more popular film was released at the same time, or the movie didn't catch on with an audience in its initial run. Ooh, I butchered that one. We'll discuss what we love about the film, or perhaps don't love about it, but we'll always recommend you revisit it. If you enjoy Forgotten Cinema, we would love to hear from you. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're available on all platforms with a backlog of over 250 episodes for your listening pleasure. What's up?
Nothing. I was just out partying all day, even though I'm a hardcore sheriff's department special agent guy, and I have a wife and kids. And I got home, had to break into my own home through the window. Found out my wife thinks I'm a bad father and husband somehow because of that. Probably because I was sleeping around too. But whatever. And I'm had the worst hangover of my life. My wife left me with the kids, and all of a sudden I have to go figure out who's robbing an armored car with no money in it, shooting a bunch of security guards, and how it ties into five other robberies and cops. Yep. And I have to figure this out. And it turns out, I might be worse than the criminals themselves.
Whoa. Well, let's get into this film and then let's figure out if you're the worst. That's right. We are doing the 2018 film Den of Thieves. And as you are listening to this, obviously the sequel came out, Den of Thieves Pantera. So
Den of Thieves 2 Pantera.
Excuse me. So I don't even know is the number in there?
Yeah, it's
All right.
in there, yeah.
Then I'm stand corrected. Anyways, let's get into the original and then we'll discuss about the film. I don't know why I keep stuttering on that. So Den of Thieves has a runtime of 140 minutes. It's rated R. Production budget of $30 million. Came out on January 19th, 2018, which was a Friday. We always talk about January being a tough month to come out.
Not a good month.
Nope. Opening weekend, it did $15 million. Domestic, 45. International, 35.5 for a worldwide total of $80.5 million. Production company was Diamond Film Productions, Tucker Tooley Entertainment, and G-Base, and distributed by STX Films. Came out on the 19th, so let's go back a week to the 12th of January, 2018. You had Paddington 2. Fun fact, Butler, I have not seen Paddington 2. And I know everyone loves it. I know it's the perfect movie ever.
I've seen some.
Never seen it.
Oh, because of the Nick Cage movie.
No, I just know that's not the only one. I know that's a big.
The first Paddington's good.
Yes, I've seen the first one.
The second one, I've watched. It keeps popping up my Instagram for some reason lately, and there are a couple of clips of him in prison that are like really funny.
Never saw it. Just never saw it. Just not like I'm not against it.
You're gonna have to watch it before we see Paddington 3 for our national
Stop.
episode.
We're not. So anyways, I will tell you the movie I did see that week. It was The Commuter with Liam Neeson. Yeah. You didn't, we watched, I watched it as a screening. I know I did.
I must not have watched that with you.
Anyways, Proud Mary and The Post came out in a wide release. That was the Steven Spielberg film that actually probably had a limited release, at the end of 2017. It's wide. It was a lot of times when Oscar films come out limited at the end of the year, in January they come out wide. So that's why you have The Post here. Anyways, the 19th, this film Den of Thieves went up against 12 Strong, Forever My Girl, Phantom Thread, another wide release, Call Me By Your Name, and I, Tonya. So those last three films were probably limited in 2017, coming wide in 2018.
I, Tonya and Call Me By Your Name definitely were.
Definitely Phantom Thread. That's
the final film from what's his face? Daniel Day-Lewis.
Until the next one.
Till his son's film that's coming out next year, or this year.
The week after, the 26th of January, you had a wide release of Maze Runner: The Death Cure. Is that the second one or the third one?
I think it's the one where he gets hit and he never does a
third
Maze
one.
Runner afterward. The third one, yeah.
Hostiles and a limited release of Please Stand By. This film is directed by Christian Gudegast. I hope I said that name right. The only other film that he's doing next, that he directed next, is Den of Thieves 2. Story by Paul T. Schring and story and screenplay by Gudegast. I hope I'm saying these names right. Schring has done Prison Break. He was actually the creator of the TV show Prison Break, which I've never seen. I don't know.
Me neither. I know a lot of people like it.
Never got into it. And you know what it is? It's not it's not the subject matter. It's just Fox. Like Fox shows I can't get into because they
don't give them a chance.
Yeah, they cancel them so quick.
They're so high concept and they seem cool, and they're like, oh, we're done.
Yeah,
like John Doe, which
was
also
that Fox?
Is that is Fox, which he's in Prison Break. Right?
He is.
They're like, we like you, but we're canceling John Doe.
Yeah,
which I really like John Doe.
Gudegas has written Man Apart and London Has Fallen. I think he did Olympus Has Fallen too, but I'm not sure. I think he did the other Has Fallen, whatever that one was called.
Olympus, London, and then I can't remember.
I'm not a huge fan. It wasn't as good.
One. Yeah, the first two are pretty good. I like Olympus.
Wasn't it him? Wasn't it His Name Has Fallen?
Oh, is it?
I have no idea.
I hope that.
Wow, we really doing well this episode.
Well, he didn't write it, so we're good.
The cinematographer was Terry Stacy, who's done American Splendor, Take Me Home Tonight, which is an episode we did at Adventureland. Composer was Cliff Martinez, who's done Pump Up the Volume, Narc, an upcoming episode, and Spring Breakers. Edited by David S. Cox, Joel Cox, and Nathan Godley. David Cox has done Juror Number 2, which is obviously the most recent film, and Cry Macho. He's done a couple of
Eastwood films.
Yeah, Eastwood films. I believe he's Joel Cox's son, but don't quote me on that because Joel Cox does primarily Eastwood films. He won an Oscar for Unforgiven, and he was nominated for $1 Million Baby and American Sniper. And Nathan Godley has been an assistant editor on The Mule and All Eyes on Me. Produced by Gerard Butler, Mark Canton, Alan Siegel, and Tucker Tooley. Butler produces a lot of his own movies. Yeah, which is cool. He puts a stake. I think that's why you see a lot of Gerard Butler's more recent films have been a lot of action films, a lot of just, I don't know, tough guy films.
Things where he's definitely like, that's a Gerard Butler role.
He's definitely like kind of cornered that a little bit, kind of like how Liam Neeson cornered that a little bit with, you know what I mean? But Butler puts his money where his mouth is. He produces a lot of them.
Yeah.
So that's fine. So he's done Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, and like I said, Hunter Killer and a bunch of others. Greenland, I think he's doing. I think he's actually shooting Greenland Migration. There's a sequel they're doing.
There's a sequel to Greenland?
Yeah, it's kind of, they're shooting it now. It's in post right now.
Okay.
Mark Canton has done Jack Frost, the Jack Frost that
the killer one.
Nope, the Jack Frost that Michael Keaton was in, where he read the script and he cried after he read the script. I don't know if you've ever seen the Jack Frost, but I
have seen both of those Jack
I
Frosts.
have. I've seen the sequel to the horror film Jack Frost.
There's a sequel to the horror Jack Frost?
They go down south. They go to a Caribbean or something like that.
Please tell me they go to a
tropical island and he's there. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh, that's amazing.
Canton has also done The Strangers Chapter 1. And like, I was looking through this. Two things. One, there's a Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 that are already in post-production for The Strangers, okay?
I didn't think The Strangers was good enough to
not even that. Strangers 1, 2, and 3 are directed by Rennie Harlan.
Really?
Yes.
I have to rewatch The Strangers. It didn't really.
I'm not a big home invasion movie guy.
Oh no, me neither.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I was like,
but they're in a hotel in the first Strangers.
I have no friggin' idea. I know this.
I have to rewatch
Liv
it.
Tyler's in The Strangers.
Yeah.
This Strangers chapters 1, 2, and 3 are like the prequels to that.
It's how the Strangers like blew up or something like that. Yeah, they go to a cabin. They do a vacation cabin in Chapter 1, and they tell them not to go because like people have been disappearing or something like that. Yeah. I'll rewatch The Strangers. I'm curious. It's getting 4 sequels. Something's got to like right off the bat.
Siegel has produced basically most of Gerard Butler's films as well. And Tucker Tooley's done We're the Millers and Hellfest, to name a few. All right. So I've already said Gerard Butler's name like 8 times. He's in this film as Big Nick O'Brien. that's his credit.
True.
We're just going to call him Big Nick.
But his wife's got a champ stamp of Big Nick right there.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's obviously in 300, law-abiding citizen. He's the father in How to Train Your Dragon in the animated and in the live action that's coming out.
Oh, he plays.
I'm pretty sure he's in the live action. Cool. He's also in The Bounty Hunter with Jennifer Aniston. Maurice Compta is Benny Baracho Magellan. Let's call him Baracho. He's an End of Watch in the TV show Narcos. Brian, these are all the people I'm naming right now are all the sheriff's deputies, all the major crimes unit. Brian Van Holt as Murph Connors from Black Hawk Down, House of Wax, and I know him from the TV show Cougar Town. Mo McRae as Gus Henderson. He basically wrote and directed A Lot of Nothing, which is an actual name of the movie, not A Lot of Nothing. That's the actual name of it. And he's in The First Purge. Kwai Lyman as Tony Z Zapata from American Violence and The Mongolian Connection. Now, there are a lot of bad guys, but I'm only going to give you 3 because the 3 that you would probably recognize.
There are a lot of that.
Right. Pablo Schreiber as Ray Merrimen, who's the head guy, as we find out later, maybe not. 13 Hours, First Man, and the TV show Orange is the New Black. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as Ensign Laveau from Escape Plan series. There's like 4 Escape Plan movies, by the way.
Yeah, you said that like another episode.
And I did not realize that he's in Power, but he also is an executive producer, I believe, on all the Power. Yeah. No. I actually
big time on Power.
50 Cent film career, like movie, like producing a film career, is very, very
interesting.
Yeah. But it's very not profitable,
diverse, and
not progressive. What's the word I'm looking at? Proactive? No, what's the word? Just prolific.
Yeah,
It was a P. It was very prolific. And then Evan Jones as Bo Basco Osterman from 8 Mile. He's Cheddar Bob in 8 Mile. Jarhead and the TV show October Road. That's when I saw him, I'm like, who is this guy? And then I'm like, it's Cheddar Bob. And then you have Big Nick's wife, Holly. Big Nick's wife's Debbie, played by Dawn Olivieri, who's in Bright and the TV show House of Lies. Meta Williams plays Holly, who is Merriman's girlfriend, and then kind of hooks up with Big Nick for some reason in this thing.
Trick him. We'll get into that. Yeah.
She's from Boss Level. She's the TV show The Bay, but also she's an executive producer on that. She's actually an executive producer on a lot of films. So I thought that was really interesting as well. So she's just, in it. And, O'Shea Jackson Jr., who is Donnie Wilson, who has a big part in this film, from Straight Outta Compton, where he plays his father, Longshot and Ingrid Goes West. Jordan Bridges as Lobbin Bob. I don't know why they give him that name. It's just whatever.
Lobbin Bob.
He's the FBI guy. His big of note is a TV show Rizzoli and Isles. That's where you probably saw him. And then Cooper Andrews Mac, that is the heavy guy who's on the phone with the beard. You've seen him in a couple.
Okay, yep.
He's in the TV show Walking Dead, but he's also the foster dad in Shazam.
Yep.
That's probably where I think everyone. I don't watch The Walking Dead, so
I don't either. Yeah.
All right, Butler. I have seen this film. I know. I will tell you, since last week we did Ad Astra and you kind of gave me your initial thoughts.
Right.
I'll give you my thoughts.
Good,
okay.
Good.
I remember liking this film when I watched it. I still like this film now. And what's surprising is that there are 2 big action pieces in the film, the front and the end. And in the middle, not really that much. But to me, I didn't think this movie dragged. I actually was into it. I actually liked a lot of the stuff that happened in between. I think the 2 action scenes are really good. And I know what we're going to talk about in terms of like what they remind us of, and that's fine. But I'm curious what you thought.
Well, before we go into that, I want to ask you, did you like it better the second time or the first time?
There wasn't much in this second watch that I wouldn't say that. I probably liked it a little bit more.
Okay.
Only because I was picking up on things that I didn't pick up on in the first film.
Initial watch.
Especially like the just the heist. The kind of like the machinations and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
But also, and again, this movie is got serious Heat influences, which I love the movie Heat, and I love the shootout in Heat.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that the 2 shootouts don't have any music in them, and it's just the shootouts. And unless someone tells me otherwise, they didn't do a lot of CGI gunfire, like it was actual guns being shot. So I really appreciated those scenes as well. So yeah, nothing went down from the first watch. If anything, it's either the same or a little bit above.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did the movie have music in general?
Yeah, it did.
Okay, because I'm trying to pick out a score, and I'm like,
so at the end of the film, when they're having the final gunfight,
right,
when it gets to just them with handguns, the music kicks in. When he gets hit, when he gets shot.
I'm going to have to replay that and try to pick out anything.
Sure.
I liked it.
Okay.
I don't know if I like it as much as you, but I did enjoy it. I like the twist at the end. I am excited to see the sequel.
Okay.
I think Gerard Butler's cop and his cop friends are heavily inspired by Vic Mackey and his crime unit.
Maybe.
To the point of ridiculousness, which is fine though, because I love The Shield. But I found that he was very Vic Mackey, and that you can wear that on the sleeve because they also wear their Heat influences on the sleeve. But I think that it's almost not so bad because his wife points it out, or his soon-to-be ex-wife, that he always has to make everything a show. He's so larger than life in everything he does to a ridiculous degree, Gerard Butler's character, that I don't know if I like it or I don't like it.
This is Big Nick gives me very, like, because he's always grunting and he's eating and he's always smoking. He's always eating and smoking or drinking. He's always doing something and he's always very loud and guttural that it gives me very much Tony Soprano vibes. Very much the way Gandolfini plays Soprano, which he does on purpose.
Okay.
So because like I'm doing this heavy and the mic, he's like he's just, that's how Big Nick
the whole time.
That's how Tony Soprano is. So I thought that stuff, especially in this rewatch, like I was like, I kind of, he embodied Big Nick. So
I do like that because it's like Gerard Butler is not sexy in this movie. He is like,
I don't really, I mean, like when I watch Gerard Butler films, I don't know if I'm always like,
because he's a leading man. So it's like, but like he looks like he smells. And there's a scene where even like after he hooks up with Holly,
he gets in the car,
Merriman's girlfriend. Yeah. He gets in the car and he smells the shirt to make sure I'm like, yeah, no, you look, this is what I've been thinking this whole movie. So I'm glad you kind of settle it. And there's a scene like he doesn't have his neck isn't shaven and he just looks tired. I really like that about like Nick is just worn out. Well, and he wears himself. That part of that he wears himself out.
Yeah.
But I also like to note that the director was like
25
pounds and he did. And he looked like, before I read that note, like he steps out when he first meets Donnie in the hotel room and he steps out in his tank top. I'm like, he's jacked still, but he looks like big.
He's
big.
Like,
wow, he's big in this. Like he looks like he drinks and smokes. And beats people up. I think that was a good look. I really do like Gerard Butler as Big Nick. That's why I'm saying I don't know. Like, so I guess I do like it. Now that we've talked it out, I do like it. But he is like, he's larger than life.
Yeah.
And like, I think the Tony Soprano comparison is really well done. Yeah.
It's Butler really, like you said, he embodies Big Nick. And I think that's a big part of this movie. Cause if Big Nick that character is not good,
right,
then this whole movie just kind of falls apart a little bit. You know what I mean? Like
he's the glue that holds it all together. Yeah.
Right. I mean, cause you don't really have a lot of that. You do kind of with Merrimen and Schreiber's character.
Right.
You do kind of have that. Like I put this line in the story because you do have that moment like it's like I ain't cuffing up, like like, well, that's good, I didn't bring my cuffs. Yeah. So but like that's kind of Merriman's, and that's his character, that's his whole thing.
Right. I would have liked a little bit more with Merrimen, and 50 Cent's Laveau. You get a little bit of Laveau, which I like that you get to see like him in his home life.
My favorite scene in the last 5 to 10 years of film, 2018, so 6, so let's say 5. Is the scene when the date comes over to pick up his daughter and he brings him into the garage. And I love that scene because he's just like, yo, let me talk to him for a second. And he's like, yeah, because the kid comes in. I remember liking the scene before, but I remember because the kid comes in and he's all cocky.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yo, girl, you fine. Yeah. I'm like, I was just waiting for like, 50 Cent's gonna kill
like, I'm sorry, but like if I'm walking in and I see the dad off in the kitchen,
you don't do that.
I'm like, it doesn't even matter if 50 Cent isn't like jacked. If it's just I see the dad over there, I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, like, are you kidding me?
But I love when he brings him into the garage and all his buddies are there and they all stand up and they're just all jacked and they're just all like, that's just the perfect
I love
scene.
that the Hawaiian guy starts shouting at him.
Yeah.
And the Merriman's gotta be like, whoa, what he's trying to say.
Have a good time tonight. So bring home at 11:30, right? Oh, 11:30. Yep.
Yes, sir.
That was awesome. I love that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes in recent memory.
That reminds me a lot of the scene though from the first Bad Boys.
Yep.
Where Will Smith comes out acting like he just got out of prison. Oh, you ever been with a man you want to? No, sir. Which ends up being the guy that marries her because he's in the last.
Did you see that? We saw the last one.
I still haven't seen.
You haven't seen the last one?
The very last one.
So,
but I do know there's the scene where I'm a Marine. Well, maybe it's time for you to deploy.
But he has actually in the movie he has the better action scene. He has a scene where they come into the house and he puts them all down.
That's cool because he's the same actor from the original. So it's cool that it carries on.
And he's like, and you just start see all this training and he's just like, it's like, oh my God. Like, and they're watching it happen. They're like, oh. So it's pretty funny.
What I do want to watch because I didn't have Netflix and came right to Netflix.
Oh, right.
Now I have Netflix. So I have to go back and watch that. So yeah, I like that scene as well. I want there to be, and there's almost like a scene where Gerard Butler says it as well, where he's like, how did these guys go from perfect military officers to get this life? And you don't really get that. I don't know why Merrimen went from leading a platoon to becoming a criminal.
Right.
Oh, his original, like, do we know why his original stint in prison was?
Well, did they say it? I don't know if he got caught doing, because he got, remember when, no, you're right. No, they don't, because remember when he's got him on the board and he was like 2005, 2006, 2007. And then they said Merrimen got put away for something else or a gun charge or something.
Was that it?
Comes,
okay.
and then but they don't say it's related to those cases. Comes back. They do the arena one. And they do.
It just happens that the timeline.
And he's like, if we bust this crew, this is the crew that's done all these
cases.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think they knew him before, but now they do. No, they don't explain why.
He was in prison for an unknown charge. Yeah.
Right. But they don't explain why. You're asking, why did they suddenly decide to start robbing banks?
Right. Because Merrimen, Laveau, and I want to say Bosco. Yeah. Bosco was they do say Bosco was a decorated communications officer.
Right.
They don't say why, and he was partners with Laveau on the field.
We all met in the military. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't say why they turned to a life of crime, especially Laveau, because he's got this really nice family. And he seems to be a good father that I just don't. I would have liked just a few, and I know the movie's a little long already. I know you say it doesn't feel long.
It doesn't feel long.
220. Like you can't really add much to that in terms of like having a crime movie of like, and here's why they became bad. But I kind of still want to know, even if it's just the line talking about their background. I want to know what made them turn to the life of crime.
Right. So much like, and this movie gets compared to Heat, which, you know, what's funny is, and when we go into the critics and stuff like that, it gets compared to Heat, but like negative, like they're saying like it rips off Heat, but like Heat, not for nothing.
They weren't the ones that first created that.
But not
Cops
even
vs.
that.
Robbers.
What's up?
They weren't the first ones to do like the Cops vs. Meat Robbers thing.
But Heat's 20 years old. Like it's a 20-year-old film. It's okay if you do something that's similar to Heat.
Well, we just talked about the last episode. They copy Apocalypse Now, which copied Heart of Darkness.
Right. I mean, but like it's what's the copying? I mean, I get it. The two characters, it's Big Nick and Merrimen, that have like the tete-a-tete, like they're going after each other, but not really, not as much as they do in Heat. And I mean, it's there. The shootouts, the gunfight at the end. Okay, that's fine. I mean, but like I don't understand like why that's a negative reflection on this film when you compare it to something like Heat. I don't get that. It's not. When I watched this film, I never thought like, oh, this is just Heat. I thought like, oh wow, this is like Heat, and I like that.
100% that is like, it's not copying it. It's just like, oh, this is like Heat. They're clearly, you know, I'm sure Heat was an influence,
right?
But they're definitely not like trying to copy it to the point where it's just like, oh, this is just a worse copy. Because we've done movies that are just kind of literally trying to be a worse copy,
right?
Or just they're not trying to be a worse copy, but they're trying to be a copy, and you make a copy, and it's going to degrade a little bit. And this is very much its own thing.
But I never like, even when they were settling up to the bad guys, I never was like wanted the bad guys to win. Like when you in Heat with De Niro, you were like, oh, you wanted to get away because it was more about like, you know, just him trying to find peace. I never caught that in this film, so I think that's probably. I want Big Nick to win, to get the, you know, to win the day. Do
you think the movie maybe would have been a little bit better or more nuanced, or maybe appreciated a little better if maybe like we're talking, you get a little bit more of Merrimen and Laveau's background in the military, like why they turned to maybe but like yourself with them a little more?
Maybe, but as we're going to ruin it for people who haven't seen the film, they're not the crux of the movie. It's Donnie. Donnie is the one that you find out puts this all together.
And Donnie, even before that, you kind of get that Donnie's more important just because we focus on Donnie a lot.
Right.
And you know there's got to have to be something about Donnie that helps the movie out.
Right. But well, you watched it and you always are like, you watched the first time, you're always like, oh, I figured it out in the first 5 minutes. Did you expect the twist?
I wasn't like shocked by it, but I was kind of like, oh, so I liked the twist. I just wasn't like, oh, damn. But I also did not see it coming though.
Okay.
But I did enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
What part were you like, when like he gives Merrimen so Donnie is basically the mastermind behind this whole.
Donnie's the one that comes out with the plan, but he's not a robber. So he kind of goes to Merrimen and goes, I got this plan. You want to?
He gets other people to do it.
And he's like, yeah, sure. But it's my crew, my plan, my operation. He goes, yeah, whatever. I don't do this.
In that regard, I want to know how he convinced Merrimen, or how they decided that I'm going to pretend like I don't know you when they because they first meet him as the driver.
Yeah, maybe a couple more of those flashes.
And they have that scene when they drive,
right?
Like they don't. I want to know that.
I almost assumed that was almost like fake. That's him telling the story that didn't happen.
Oh, maybe. Oh, you're right. That could be.
That's what I kind of thought. It was
that could be. No, you know what? That could be. That could be. Yeah.
I kind of realized that he was the mastermind during the shootout. and they kept going to him, and he's kind of
when he's locked up,
he's not
cuffed
afraid.
up?
He's curious,
Yeah.
and that's when I knew not necessarily that he was the mastermind, but that there was something else about Donnie that we didn't know. And then I started to try to think of the guy in the suit at the restaurant, his boss at the restaurant. I thought he was going to tie like, oh, Donnie's maybe part of the mob, and I thought maybe the mob was going to come steal everything at the end. But it turns out the guy in the suit was just a guy in the suit.
Fun fact, that's Eric Braeden for people out there who watched a lot of soap operas, big time soap opera guy, but also he's the father of the writer director here of Christian Gudegas. So just a little toast, a little note out there for you. Yeah.
I know one of the cops that was kind of an advisor on the film is the guy that closes out his tab with those.
He's kind of like the
inspiration for Big Nick.
They said like loosely based inspiration for Big Nick.
I would hope, because I don't think the guy wants to admit that he's a dirty cop.
Going to strippers all the time.
He's just known for being super willing to go undercover in operations. Yeah.
Right. Which, hey, I guess we need that sometimes.
Do we need a dirty cop like Big Nick?
Not dirty cop, but I see now to that point, I always picture like in True Detective, the first season of True Detective, how Woody Harrelson or Matthew McConaughey, one of them, talk about how they're bad guys, but they're the bad guys to keep the other bad guys out, like that kind of thing.
Harrelson says it, but yeah, I know
you know, like I always remember that line, and I always think of that line when we watch movies or TV shows with anti-heroes where they're bad, they're not terrible, but they're bad to the bad people, like the people that you need to be that gray and that live in that gray to keep those who don't live in that gray, who live in the dark, like to keep them away.
That's part of the Vic Mackey thing,
right?
The thing about the thing about The Shield that does better is like you kind of start to care about Vic Mackey, even though he does a terrible thing in the pilot episode. Big Nick, and the rest of his crew, I like the robbers. I wouldn't have cared if they got offed. The thing is, like, I don't really care about anybody in the film, and I think that's a detriment to it. Like, I didn't really mind either way what happened, but that's also kind of cool because the story could have gone either way. And I guess in that kind of way, it's like you usually want the heroes or the cops to win, or you want, like in Heat, the robbers to win. In this, I was like, it could go either way, and I'm just interested in what's going to happen.
I think you of the bad guys, I think you feel more for Ensign, for 50 Cent's character, just because you see his family. And then you have that moment at the end where he gets shot, and then Gus comes up to him. He's like, it's in his hands now, and like I thought that was interesting because yes, they are on opposite sides, but it's almost the ending felt very much like a Wild West. Like, you know what I mean? This is happening, and the fact that like they don't,
the cars of the townspeople in the houses.
I mean, I when that whole thing in the scene where at the final shootout starts, very obviously reminiscent of Heat, but also reminiscent of Sicario. When
on the highway, the bridge, yep, 100%.
Which is another great scene. And
did we do Sicario for the pod?
We did not.
Okay.
And they set up the guns, and he sets up that giant machine gun and just like starts blowing through LMG, oh my goodness.
There's no way other people didn't die in the thing. That's what my note is, like the cops are getting fired.
They're openly fired. No, I know.
They open up the possibility for all those people to get killed.
But we just spent 2 hours, or not even an hour and a half, setting up that these guys play by their own rules.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So
but you also kind of got that they care whether people get shot.
Well, tell them to get by the engine block. I mean, they're telling them to get down.
People died. That's why in the second one, and where the trailer starts, I lost. You're an ex-cop. They got fired. It's like, probably.
I'm also getting out of the car and going behind the cement.
No one runs. Oh, one person runs.
Some people were leaving, but no, I'm not getting in my car. I'm getting out of the car and getting out of there.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm getting behind something and being like, just start firing.
Yeah, there's bushes out that way. I'm hopping that fence and running.
Yeah. So did you like did you like both gunfight scenes, the beginning and the middle?
I do. I really like the beginning because I like that
I like the drone shot. Did you like the opening drone shot, the shot that comes down? And
I did. I thought that was cool with the text that comes up with the stats.
Yeah, with all the stats about LA, even though we're in Atlanta. The whole thing was shot in Atlanta, most of it.
They put palm trees in there.
Whatever. Yes.
I do like the shotgun. I like the colors there. I do like that first shootout because that's very Wild West too, because it's kind of like a quick draw moment. And I also like that in other films, you maybe wouldn't know, hey, did that guy actually pull for his gun or whatever? Right. In this, it's like, no, he did. Yeah. He pulled for his gun, and they're still mad because they don't know. But as the audience, at least you know.
Yeah.
In other films, that's usually ambiguous and you don't know. In this one, it's like, okay, they're bad guys, and this guy is the guy that killed the first cop, but The other guy did pull for his gun.
And also, but Merriman talks about like when they get back, it's like we're cop killers now, boys. Like that, it's like, it changes.
You didn't want to do it, and now they're really going to come after you. Which is his thing. Is like now it's major crimes.
Yeah, yeah. That's what one thing we're worried about. So I thought that was.
And I love that the next scene is there's donuts in that box. Not all of them have blood on them.
God, he just like goes in there to start eating.
Just
them.
how like dead to like the situations, how many bodies they see, like they know, like all right.
When he throws the donut, and he's like, "This is an open crime scene."
It's a hot zone.
Hot zone. He's like, "What? Really? What happened? What?"
He doesn't care, Bob. Whatever, Bob.
Lob and Bob.
One part that I'm surprised I was very interested in is how the Federal Reserve worked. Like, I don't know why I was kind of so into that. I was like, okay, so they go there and now these guys count money and this guy locks the door. I wonder how much of that's true. The way they handle it.
They probably, some of it is, but there's no way they're telling them everything they do.
Here's how you rob the Federal. I get that.
But like when he goes in with the Chinese food and he goes in with two bags.
Go all the way up in the cafeteria to the left, not being escorted.
But not even that. He goes in with the Chinese food. He's got two bags. Every step is watched. Nobody's going to understand that he doesn't walk out. He comes out with one bag into the bathroom and he leaves with no bag. No one's going to notice that.
He's a delivery guy. Why would he leave with any bags?
Why would he go into the bathroom with a bag? I'm saying if they're watching the monitors.
Right.
And they see him go into the men's room with a bag.
Then clearly they're not paying that much
attention. Right.
Yeah. I get you. I get what you're saying.
And so one of the things I didn't notice, because one of my questions in here was, how are they going to know that they're going to order Chinese food on that day so that he would be there? And I was like, how? And then at the end of the film, when he's at the bar and you look down there,
one of the ladies
and the woman is there, and I'm just like, I never noticed her in the first watch. So this one, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she's in on it.
Yeah. So I was like, that makes sense. Okay.
That's why she doesn't want the lady to call security. You're being too picky. Because my note at first was being too picky. There's no way that food didn't have mold on it. It was 5 days ago, which my other note is
Chinese food with MSG probably. Come on.
MSG doesn't preserve it. And the other note is, why not just put Chinese food in your box of money and then...
I don't know. Why not? I don't know.
Just bring out warm food.
I don't know.
That's like, you just kind of gave moldy egg rolls to some lady. Of course she's going to want her money back. Lucky she didn't bite into it right away.
Yeah. That was one thing that was explained away, which I was in terms of like in terms of like the heist. But then another thing that I didn't understand was like all this planning that you didn't know, Merriman didn't know the traffic patterns. Like he didn't, like, this wasn't like an accident when they were on the road that was going down to one lane. This was construction. It was planned construction. So it's like, you didn't know that this was like, you shouldn't go this way. Like I was like, come on.
He didn't know because the big Hawaiian guy is the one that's directing the traffic. He's the one that sent him down that road.
No, he didn't, because he burned him.
That's true. Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Also, when Big Nick goes to visit his kid, now I'm just talking about stuff I didn't like in the film. When Big Nick goes to see his kid at the fence, hey, come over. That teacher's doing a terrible job.
The same thing as like this stranger danger. Why are you letting this man talk to this kid?
I mean, and she's like, come on now. You're like, so you see her. Yeah. You clearly see her talking to another guy at a fence.
Hold the hands while they're
on the dustiest, dirtiest playground.
It's just a school green. I thought that was a little weird. Some of those scenes, like, he's just such a douche, and it's just like
Big Nick.
I don't like the scene. Obviously, I don't like awkward scenes, but the scene where he signs the divorce papers,
you never like awkward.
It's just like, I don't know why this scenes need to be there, other than to hammer home the fact that Nick is not a good guy.
But I don't know. I don't know the relationship of anybody in that room.
Oh yeah, buddy, I was going to call you and have dinner.
So who's that?
You don't have dinner with this guy.
So number one, who is that? Number two, the front door's wide open. You could just walk right in.
I thought the same
so
thing,
like, I don't know who it is. And then the fact that clearly she was dating
another guy
while they were together, because this is awfully quick, because this is what, a month or so, maybe.
I don't even think a month.
I know.
Yeah
because they're tracking. So she's on a date, she's already with a dude. It was really just, and that's not because I'm like, shame on her. It's like, I don't know what's going on with the characters in the script
because she seemed to got mad that he was going out with the stripper or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, it didn't make a lot of sense. And yes, you don't know who the other guy is. Buddy, I was going to call you for dinner. Like, there's no way this guy has dinner with Nick.
He's big and strong, maybe.
But they don't hang out. But they play golf together. It's like, I don't know. I don't see them jiving.
Something I did like was that they do a good job of giving us an expo dump because they're we're learning while the cops are learning about what's going on. I really like
the way they put it all together.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought, and I think that's important in any good heist film or any good film that's like, you know, bad guys versus good guys where you're trying to figure out why, like, you know, this we talk about all the time about sometimes, you know, you always have to have an expo dump in films for a variety of reasons. It always needs to be there. It's the way you do it. If it's done the right way, you're into it. Like I was into that. Like, all right, okay. Yep. So I thought that was good. There's a lot in this film that I like. And I mean, I can keep going on. I really didn't have, you already asked me about like how I felt about this film from my first watch to now. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a lot of negative things to say about this movie. Like, I'm glad there's a sequel and I'm sure it's already out. We've already watched it. I'm glad there's a sequel. I mean, cause I want to know, I want to see what happens again. I want to know what's going on now. I want to see Big Nick again. I want to see Donnie. I want to see what's happening.
Sure. One thing I liked in the film that I put together at the end was the beginning scene when you first see Nick. He doesn't have a case. The world is very gray. Then it's very Los Angeles, golden, kind of like that sunburnt, crispy look. And then the case is over. The next scene you see with Nick, he goes outside. It's gray again. He doesn't have a case. There's no color in that image again. I thought that was really cool bookend with Nick, showing that if he doesn't have a case, if he's not working, he's like dead inside. It's the case that makes him come alive.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool theming and use of color to like show that. And I thought that was really clever. And if that was an accident, then what?
It just rained those 2 days. They shot this on the same day. I like the when the major crime is getting ready, when they show both sides getting ready and they're gearing up.
Right.
And Gus is
pretending to draw a quick draw.
Doing like how fast he's going to load and put the gun away. I thought that was really cool. The little things. And I'm hoping that stuff they picked up in their research. I know that they trained, each group there were 2 boot camps, one for the cops, one for the robbers, they say, that were trained by the same guy where they were trained differently,
right? But
they were kept separate, like, so to kind of like continue that rivalry, which I think is always good. And I think it's really smart to do. We talked about how there's an alternate ending, right? But like, we don't know what it is. The movie was originally 160 minutes. So
that's too long.
Who knows? Who knows what? I mean, all these.
But maybe you get some of the questions answered that were asked.
That's what I was about to say. All these questions that we had, this movie, we said it came out in January, and we talked about how January is a tough month to come out because movies usually put out in January are not. There's not a lot of confidence in them, or studio doesn't really know what to do with them. And it was projected that this film would do like 7 to 10 million in its opening weekend, and it did 15 million. So it kind of, exceeded their expectations.
Got that Gerard Butler bump.
Exactly.
I will say that I think that's a reason I didn't watch it. Obviously, we can.
Because you don't like Butler?
No, because it seemed it was a January dump month movie with Gerard Butler being an action hero. And I figured it was just kind of like we talked about with Liam Neeson. It was just, all right, it's a Gerard Butler paycheck movie.
See, this is why.
Which is what I had originally thought about Olympus Has Fallen. And then we watched that and I was like, this movie's actually freaking awesome.
And that's the reason when you ask me, why do you watch all these films? Why do you watch that movie that looks like garbage?
You never know. You might find your own forgotten gem.
Exactly. And yes, Butler, it usually is garbage. All right. But there's always something in there that I can enjoy and like.
Sure.
Except the one I watched the other day.
Oh.
Yeah. So, so it's just so I think this is one of those films where going into this movie, I was like, well, maybe I'll see some cool action.
Right.
And what I got was something that was like, wow, it really
isn't the way it was advertised. It really was advertised as an action film.
Right.
One thing that I think is a little drawback for me, which isn't a necessity, but I think would have helped the movie like pace wise, is if maybe they were trying to solve a second case within that, like sometimes they do in crime movies. Maybe. And we got like a little mini action scene in the middle.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
I think just the middle has no.
Sometimes with those, when that happens in a film, I feel like that it's just kind of like it's a filler, and I'm not really into that.
It would have to show off something of their characters. Like maybe that's how they're getting money for all these parties, and just show me how dirty they are. Because I'm also curious to see because when like Elise came home while I was watching the movie, like toward the end of me watching the film, and I'm like, yeah, it's about robbers and these corrupt cops. And I go, well, I guess not corrupt, dirty cops, corrupt cops, dirty cops, corrupt cops. And I go, I don't know. I know they do blow in hookers, but I don't know how
I don't know
how far
where are they doing
stretch.
blow. They never did blow in the film.
They have cocaine on the. They don't really focus on it, but there's cocaine on the table.
Okay.
When they wake Donnie up.
Sure. Yep.
That's the only reason I'm saying that.
Gotcha. I'm like, where is this blow, mythical blow?
You never see him like going for it, but it's
okay.
there on the table. So I would have liked maybe there's a scene like where they show, because that's how Vic Mackey and his strike team funded themselves.
Sure.
By stealing stuff from the people they were putting away.
What did Elise think of Gerard Butler when she saw him on screen? Was she like, wow, I like him?
I don't know her thoughts on Gerard Butler. I don't know if that's really her type.
I mean, show her the scene with the shirts off and see what she says.
I mean, when he's shooting during the shootout and he's got the body, his arms are jacked.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely put on. I mean, he definitely put on weight, but he definitely put on muscle too.
But yeah, but I know that he must have gotten better, because I know like originally after 300 he got a little heavy. And it's because he really hurt his back.
Well, yeah, but also 300 is like he has to.
Oh, you'll never get back in that shape again.
Yeah,
but he did say like a lot, because that's a criticism for movies that came right after, and he's like, I messed up my back so bad I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that he's like.
I generally like Gerard Butler in films. I think he's very charismatic.
He is very charismatic,
and I think he's very good at. I mean, and I like. Again, I have a lot of respect for an actor who is doing movies that he wants to do and they're successful. Like he's like Hunter Killer, Greenland, Plane, like these movies that are like are not really like top tier,
right?
Action films or studio films, but they're still effective. There's still good stuff in there to watch.
Well, that's also interesting, because I think everyone wants it's like everyone's like, we're gonna throw it away. It's whatever. And then like Plane came out and people were like, wait, this has like a twist. And like I think that's something all his movies, like Den of Thieves. Oh wait, it's not a stupid shoot up action movie. It's not. And Plane is like everybody thought the same thing. Oh, it's just another stupid action movie. Oh wait, there's this twist and it's actually about this. And it's like, I think that's part of the Gerard Butler like charm, and it's like why you have to watch his movies, because like Liam Neeson's movies, yes, he's just kind of
after Taken. As soon as Taken came out, he
just kind of they were just kind of generic action movies. But Gerard Butler's action movies tend to not end up being the action movie you thought it was.
Yeah,
like now I need to see Greenland, because from what I had seen, it just seemed like a generic world's being destroyed movie. Now you tell me there's Greenland too, so now I have to watch Greenland, because clearly there was something in Greenland.
Greenland Migration.
Like I thought the same thing about Plane, and then I watched Plane. I was like, oh, Plane's actually kind of cool.
Aren't they doing one ship? Aren't they doing another one? Boat.
That's what they
ship?
said right after Plane came out, but I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah,
since.
they also said they were going to do Cocaine Shark after Cocaine Bear came out.
I actually just heard that they were doing that again, so it might actually come out.
Cocaine Bear was okay. It wasn't like, it was fine. It was fun, but it was like a lot of digital.
It's time
CGI
for the new Sharknado, and that's cocaine.
Really, Elizabeth Banks going to do Cocaine Shark?
It makes their money.
All right, let's get to some reviews. Glenn Kenny from RogerEbert.com said, quote, Den of Thieves never really gets that deep and turns out not to be all that terribly serious a movie anyway. I disagree with that. I think it is a serious film.
I don't think it gets deep enough. Like we said, we could get into the bad guys a little bit more. But
yeah.
Wait, what was the second thing?
Turns out to not be all that. You made me say this again. Turns out not to be all that terribly serious of a movie.
But it is a serious movie. Like it still deals with the heist. It's still got the action, the drama. It might not go like too deep into what the characters are like, other than maybe Big Nick. But it's a serious film.
Yeah, I know.
That's a silly review.
Steve Davis from the Austin Chronicle says, quote, in a role that Russell Crowe would have surely rejected 10 years ago, Butler gets real here by going to Seed. Splotchy, puffy, paunchy, wrinkly, with his slick back hair and chains dangling on top of a chest tattoo that halfway peels out from behind a half-button shirt. He looks like a molting lounge lizard in a performance that's irredeemably hammy. Steve, calm down.
Whoa. I agree with everything until irredeemably hammy. It's perfectly hammy.
Like, Steve, do you not want to admit that you find some kind of attractiveness to Gerard Butler in this film? I mean, that's okay. It's okay.
Well, he usually doesn't. He doesn't now, and it's upsetting him.
You don't like that.
I do like his Russell Crowe comment, though, because that's
sure.
It's not untrue. 10 years ago, Russell Crowe would have played that.
But 10 years ago, Russell Crowe wasn't this big. Russell Crowe was not like Russell Crowe put on that weight now because he doesn't care.
Oh, yeah, but I just mean like also the type of character he would play. He would 100%.
Yeah, but like what? Like American Gangster?
Something like that.
Yeah.
His character from the political one where he's trying to find out who his daughter or whatever.
Not State of Grace. Is it? No, it was Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
He's a reporter in that. He's not. He's a reporter.
Yeah,
in that
but he's
one.
like gross and grubby and getting into trouble.
Yeah, I guess.
So I can see him playing this guy. I'm just saying.
Or the nice guys. The nice guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which he said he wanted to do a sequel to. I don't know why we're not doing a sequel to this.
I would love a sequel. That movie's awesome.
Derek Smith from Slant Magazine says Den of Thieves goes out feeling like it isn't so much ready to stand shoulder to shoulder with Man's classic, which he's talking about Heat there, as it is hellbent on ending up inside bargain bins the world over. I mean, what? This is what I'm talking about. This hate on this movie I don't think it's well founded. I don't agree with this hate at all. I'm not here for that.
That sounds like a review from someone who watched the trailer and just assumes stuff about the movie.
Yeah. So who would you recommend this film to then?
A lot of people. I think a lot of people would like this film because I think it does have that action you're looking for if you only watch the trailer and you're like, oh, okay. I think, like you said, a lot of people like Gerard Butler. I don't know anybody who doesn't like, even if they assume his movies are bad, they don't not like Gerard Butler. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's charismatic. He's very likable. I think the villain aspect of the story is really good. I think O'Shea Jackson Jr. is really good as Donnie. It's very understated. So when the twist happens, even if it's not a moment, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's shot well. The action scenes are neat, even if it's a little unbelievable that they would shoot up the public like that. Yeah. I think a lot of people would get a lot out of it. And people that are like, I don't really like shoot 'em up action movies. You'd be like, do you like Heat?
Yeah.
Do you like?
Yeah.
Do you like
Michael Mann films?
Any Michael Mann
do you like Thief? Do you like Heat? That's not Michael Mann. That's Freakin'. But do you like those? Yeah.
If you like those films, like you just think, oh, I don't like shoot 'em up action movies. Well, it's more than that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would get something out of this film. I guess because it's not a straight up action film, people that are only like, oh man, like the person that you talked to Gladiator about who only watched 20 minutes and just like,
I know.
Oh, when they got to the woods, I stopped watching.
Don't worry, he's not listening to this. He doesn't listen to the podcast. He's not a supporter.
Those kind of people like they only need that action. If it's not like 1,000 things in your face at once, I can't watch it. Them, I would be like, well, it's not exactly what the trailer makes it seem.
Did you see
almost everybody?
Did you see Wrath of Man? Was with
with Jason Statham? Yeah, we saw it together.
Okay,
I was not a huge fan of that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
it is kind of like that where you go in thinking it's going to be huge.
Well, like Wrath of Man, or like even like some Antoine Fuqua stuff.
I do usually like.
Wrath of Man was Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Was that Guy Ritchie?
I'm pretty sure.
I thought that was Fuqua.
Well, maybe it was Fuqua.
I think Fuqua.
And then he did one with Death.
But like those feel like if you compare those type of films to this film, those films feel more stylized.
It is Guy Ritchie.
Okay, those films feel stylized in terms of like there's more grit in Den of Thieves than there is in those type of films, and I think that's like so like those type of films become forgettable for me. Like I can go back and watch them. I can enjoy them. Yeah, I'm not saying I don't like Wrath of Man. I enjoyed it, but I don't remember a lot of it.
I was not a fan of it.
Like Den of Thieves there's a lot of stuff going on at Den of Thieves that makes me just really like this film and really remember this film. And the fact that we didn't really talk about O'Shea Jackson a lot in this film, or Donnie's character, or his character is Donnie.
Right. No, he's really good.
He is.
He's really good.
But the reason why is because Gerard Butler as Big Nick is so large and big and just overtakes the film. And it's so good that it's like one of those like, I'm glad that Donnie's in the second film. But the Big Nick role is kind of like Guy Pearce's role in The Lockout, even though The Lockout was not as good as this film.
His character,
but that character, like I would be okay with a character with a show where the movie where Big Nick is off doing whatever he's doing, because like that's
a whole new case,
right? Because I think he really got that character down to a point where like it became almost as big as the film itself.
100%.
Yeah.
But I think you also need that.
Oh no, yeah.
Because otherwise Donnie would be like, the fact that he's so big understates Donnie.
You
and
need
that's
to
why
have him fly under the radar.
He flies under the radar.
Right.
And you're like, oh.
Right.
And that's why I like Big Nick's line at the end where he's just like, Fräulein.
Yeah, I know.
And he's proud of him for being under the radar too. Like,
but I'm interested in, and like I said, this film, this movie, this episode's coming out after the second film comes out, and we haven't seen it yet.
Recorded this a few weeks before this.
But I'm interested in seeing how that dynamic changes in the second film, if it does in fact change, because now he's not under the radar. Now they're going to be like equal.
Donnie is right.
And I know the trailer set it up as like Big Nick left the cops and he
got fired.
If that's happening, who knows? I know that's how the trailer set it up, but you never can trust trailers. They're just there. Yeah.
Big Nick's still working. He's still going to take time.
Who knows? But anyways, I'm curious. So Why is it forgotten then? Why are we saying this film is forgotten when we both clearly like it?
Because we just talked about Gerard Butler movies being understated, and then you don't realize that there's something that they're not.
Right.
They're advertised as hokey action movies, bargain bin movies, and they turn out to have something in them.
Right.
And you can't put movies in January that good movies in January, just you kill them.
Do you think people
absolutely
do you
kill
think
them.
people discount this film just like you discounted this film because you were like you assumed it was something?
That's 100% why I didn't
Right.
come in that Thursday morning to watch it with you.
I see.
Because it's
Shame
just
on
like,
you. Shame on you.
oh yeah, it's just a run of the mill action movie. 100%. And part of that's maybe the marketing department, and I think part of that's also.
But sometimes don't you want just to watch an action film? Like sometimes don't you just want to watch?
Oh yeah, sometimes.
This is why I put on the Mission Impossibles all the time when I'm downstairs. Like yes,
but sometimes I don't want to come
I'm
in.
currently in my 8th rewatch of the Mission Impossible 4, 5, and 6 trilogy.
Sometimes I don't want to go into work at 8 a.m. to watch these action movies.
Where's the dedication?
You recently told me Den of Thieves was good, but I don't remember you saying right afterward that that Thursday or Friday night, like, oh yeah.
I don't remember. I can't remember what happened 6 years ago.
Yeah. So but yeah, you kept, I put it on the list because you kept talking about how good it was. And then it got a sequel. And I was just like, well, Field's saying it's
the
good.
sequel took a while to happen
6
too.
years. But you also have COVID in between. And this
Maybe.
movie took a while to get done though. Apparently he
14
wrote it in
years.
2003.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's because it got a blind deal with New Line. And then it just got, that's why you have all these, only 3 production companies, but that happens sometimes.
Around. Yeah.
But I'm surprised that this film didn't get, the sequel didn't get immediately kicked into gear, but maybe COVID and stuff like that. Yeah.
There's a couple of other sequels coming out that are kind of old.
Oh, really?
Or coming out, but they were movies 6 or 8 years old. And it's just ugh, that seems weird. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know that it's a couple of them have been announced where I was like, okay. And I know some movie recently just came out that was was supposed to come out in 2018, but pre-production was halted because of, COVID.
Oh yeah. I think I might have watched it. Did I watch it? Maybe I watched that one too. I don't know. Who knows?
But yeah, I think that kills it is just the January and the fact that you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think advertise better or even put it in August. Cause I think August is really where you put, even if you do think it's just a generic run-of-the-mill action movie, August is where those do well. Because you still want a blockbuster movie, but maybe you don't want it as big budget.
Mm-hmm.
I think August would have been the perfect place for this. And it's LA, it's heat, it's hot. I think that just works.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Where can they find us? What?
You guys know. Come on. You can find us at ForgottenCinema.
Where are you going with that?
Or, wherever you're listening or watching us, wherever you're listening or watching, drop a like, subscribe, comment, all that, whatever you can do in whatever various platform you're watching. What's your favorite cops and robber movie other than Heat? Because everyone's just going to say Heat.
Heat?
I'm sure.
Thief.
Thief's really good. Check out our episode if you didn't. And if you haven't watched the movie, check it out. James Caan is amazing in that movie.
It's also a heist film too. Sorry.
Yeah. So ForgottenCinemaPodcast.com. We have a Patreon if you want to support the show. Early access to episodes, exclusive episodes, discounts on merch. You can talk to us on Discord, all that good stuff. And we have like I said, the merch store. Support our show there, or just keep watching, rating, subscribing. Tell your friends about us. Watch the movies. Let us know what you think about the movies. That's why we do what we do.
And join us next week as we are going to 2008. We're going to wine country. We're watching the comedy drama Bottle Shock with Alan Rickman and Chris Pine. Another one you haven't seen?
I know of it, but I have not seen this movie.
This is the movie that I often quote here, I believe, and in real life when I say don't be a snob, it limits you, because that's from this film, I believe.
Okay, you do say that.
Bottle Shock was a film when I first watched it that I wasn't expecting much, and I watched it. I was like, I really like this movie, so I'm hoping you like it. We'll see. I haven't seen it since then, so my opinion could change as
Are we
well.
gonna have a glass of wine as we watch the?
I don't drink wine, but we can if you want.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
I don't know.
I don't.
Would the gimmick help or hurt? Let us know.
Do you want to get gimmicky? All right, that's next week. Check out Den of Thieves if you haven't already. I'm sorry we ruined it for you, but hopefully you have seen it already, and give it another shot. If you were like a snob like Butler, like, I'm not gonna see that. This is a big action film. Go watch it. Until then, have a great week, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema.
Head and limbs.
I ain't cuffing up.
Got body armor. Head and limb shots only. Hey guys, thanks for watching our newest episode for Den of Thieves. If you guys are interested, we have our now showing for Den of Thieves 2. It should be one of these blocks, either above him, above me, above here, right here. I don't know. It's going to be there. If you're also interested, one of our latest now showings, we just did our now showing for Section 31, which we were huge fans of. So go check out that review. That'll be on another block above one of us. Just keep watching the show. We have so many different episodes from either the main show or now showing.
Thanks.
Take care.